So here's a hedging example, and imagine that a company has a revenue stream of 100 million euros every month. So you might have a U.S. manufacturer selling its product in Europe and has 100 million euro that it has to exchange to dollars every month. So this company could in fact institute monthly options to sell euro, put options on euro, and that would be a natural way to hedge it. The company could also look at it from the perspective of, in 1 year, it ultimately is converting this many euros to dollars, including interest. So if we just look at that, there's an arithmetic average built into that formula that if the company were to implement an option where they were being, it was a put option that reflected the average exchange rate of the euro, they would be in virtually the same position. And we'll see that that average, that Asian option, will be less expensive, and yet the company can hedge its risk virtually as efficiently. And so this would be, as we can see, this would be an Asian put. An Asian put would be an average price using an arithmetic average. So here's an example of the company's hedging. If the company just hedged 100% at the end of 1 year, which means it really wasn't hedging the monthly exchange rate, only the exchange rate at the end of the year, and put the entire position on, it would be relatively expensive, and one could argue not very efficient because the company is exposed to exchange rates throughout the year. These are three approaches whereby the company can hedge exchange rates during the year. One would be to put on what would be called a strip, and that would be to put on a 1-month option, a 2-month option, a 3-month put option at a strike price. And each one of those options is on the monthly euro that will be received in that month. And the cost is less than the 1-year cost, and of course that would work much more efficiently because the company has risk every month. We can then look at geometric and arithmetic average puts, and they're cheaper yet. And they're cheaper, and probably is worth a minute to think about why are they cheaper. The interesting thing is that if you have a strip of puts, you will have some months perhaps that are in the money, some months that are out of the money. You will be paid for the in-the-money months, and you will not be paid for the out-of-the-money months. When you average the entire year's worth of exchange rates, and that's what would go into the average price put in the last two examples here, it can happen that if you have, for example, 11 out-of-the-money months and 1 in-the-money month, in the strip of puts, you will be paid for that 1 in-the-money month and not paid in the other 11. However, when you average that 1 in-the-money month with the 11 out-of-the-money months, it could well be that the average is out of the money and you don't get a payoff. So the reason that these Asian options are cheaper than a strip is simply because they will often provide, one can easily think of situations in which you would get a payoff in a strip of puts, however you will not get a payoff in the Asian put.